Now, here's the question. It's like...
It's beautiful.
Like, now if you're trying to find a prisoner because, you're just trying to get laid, what kind do you want to go for? Do you think you're going to go try to find the one who did the financial crimes? You think he's going to blow your back out if you're a lady? Or are you going to try to go for somebody that did something a little bit more spicy? You know what I'm saying?
Spicy.
Yeah, like, do you want the guy, like, I'm in there for financial crimes, accounting fraud? Probably not going to deliver the goods. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm actually profiling, financial
She's afraid
criminals.
She's going to go for the dude that strangled somebody again.
Yeah. Like, oh, not again. So I went to the library this week.
Your story's boring.
That was it.
2 lines into it.
I went to the library this week, which many of you might think is a boring place to be, but I'm going to say go check it out.
Right.
And check
it's a cool
book
place,
out.
but do we need to...
So I went to the library this week, and I had to return a book, but I decided I wanted to try to do a thing where I go there and I read magazines or periodicals because I don't want to buy them and have them collecting in my house. It's just a waste when I can go to the library and do it, especially when I only want to read like one article out of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So I did that, and it happened to be this month's Atlantic, February, actually, the edition for February. Okay. And it was about what they call the loneliness epidemic. Oh. Okay. So there's this long article that I read most of. I did speed read through a good amount. Okay. So that just got me thinking about things. And there were certain things in the article, like one of them was houses and apartments. They're all designed now to be able to maximize screen space. So every room, you have to have space for a screen because that's how we spend our lives, on screens. And there are several big changes in society that pushed us away from being out and around people. And those are the invention of the car, television, and the phone that we have in our pockets.
Gotcha.
It's moved us from being in public spaces where we had to be around people, going out to theaters, to sitting at home on our butts watching TV, and then now just getting our entertainment from phones, feeling like we're in communities when we're talking about stuff with people, when we're not actually in communities, because there is something about being around people in public.
True.
So anyway, of course, since I was looking up loneliness, my algorithm chose for me an article that I came across, and it was from Fortune Well. It's Japan's loneliness epidemic is so bad that elderly women are committing crimes to find friends and healthcare in prison.
Believe it.
Yeah.
Believe it. Especially within the elderly.
I was waiting for you to keep going.
I wanted you to make a joke about the old women, but no.
She's not touching that one.
So it says, Japan's largest women's prisons become home to a growing number of seniors. CNN reported the number of prisoners aged 65 or older nearly quadrupled from 2003 to 2022. Feeling neglected financially and socially in the wake of global loneliness epidemic, many older Japanese women are turning to imprisonment to find community and support.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's sad
to think that it's that bad that, like, the pool of people is so bad that, well, I mean, all I got left is to see who's in prison. You know what I mean? Like, that's sad. That's sad.
There's got to be other people there, they're probably playing cards, probably playing some mahjong.
And they don't have a choice. You have to be around them. They can't just decide they don't like you. And
exactly.
You have communal lunches.
Yeah.
Right.
You're eating with people. You got the yard. I don't know how it is in Japan. You're out there, doing your exercises,
right. And
probably got reading groups.
Japan's not like overly violent too, so you probably don't have a lot of violent offenders. Like they're probably robbing a store.
Well, you'd be surprised because 𝗦𝘂𝗯𝗀𝗏, identified by pseudonym for privacy, is an 81-year-old inmate who is serving time for manslaughter. Just kidding, shoplifting food, like you said. Just stealing. Like, I'm just going to go shoplift some food so I can get arrested.
I was about to say, that person would guarantee they weren't coming out.
81-year-old just coming at you.
Man,
she says, there are very good people in this prison. Perhaps this life is the most stable for me.
See, but it's sad because, if she doesn't have family to take care of her, or be around her, visit,
Yeah.
people,
The healthcare part too, like that's a big
exactly
player, which is also really sad that somebody's got to do something to get in prison so they can have, healthcare covered.
And when you think, I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but when you think about it, we get a lot of, and I'm speaking like we as in like us, we get a lot of our socializing from work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We get maybe not a lot, but we get enough where we can then go home and be okay with being alone because we're like we were socializing, we were around people, and sometimes that's enough. But if you're elderly, retired, family's not visiting, you don't have that, especially if you're not active. If you're not like actively going to community centers and different things built for seniors, I can definitely see how they can get sad, lonely, and depressed. That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so you said it. And it says the companionship offered by prison is the main appeal for these elderly women, along with regular meals, free health care, and elder care. And the requirement to work in the prison factories is no deterrent. Yeah.
No.
It says there are even people who say they will pay 20 to 30,000 yen, 130 to 190 a month, if they can live here forever. So people will pay to live there because you get all that. And that's interesting. I thought Japan had nationalized healthcare, which that's what someone said on TikTok. So I thought it was real.
Oh yeah.
Well, and then, we have the appeal, we have the appeal of retirement homes because a lot of them are built in around that where they have events for them and you're in a retirement home with other retirees.
Yeah.
So
but
you're in I'm not saying
those are
like,
pricey.
no, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
So if you don't have the money for it, then
and that's where I was kind of getting at.
Good luck.
Sounds like there's a market for it.
And
someone go to Japan, get a bunch of elderly that could, just say, here's a space where you guys could come hang out for cheap and socialize. Then you don't have to go out and commit crimes.
That might be my plan because I didn't start my 401k till quite late. I don't know if it's going to be robust enough. I might just have to fucking go to American prison. No, I don't think it'll work. I think Japanese prisons are probably a lot nicer.
Yeah, than
American prisons are probably, just slightly above South American prisons, and like,
I don't. Yeah. I think for us that's not a good move.
Yeah. No, my thing was if I don't have the money, I would become a monk, go to a monastery. That would be, it's kind of like prison. Yeah. Get the meals and.
Well, I don't know if I've ever talked to you guys about this because it's kind of on
except for I don't get sex as a monk. In prison, I'd get f***ed all the time.
He had to get there. We were waiting. But that's one of my things too. It's not so much like, I'm now big into communal, I'm not even saying the word right, communal living and such like that. But ideally, I'm still in the back of my mind, RV, small house living, but getting a lot where you can have multiple small homes or whatever, but have a community center in the middle or like a community type center where ideally, of course, if I had the money, it'll be all people I know that said you can stay here cheap, but we can all hang out in the same place, if we choose to. Like a giant rec room where it has a social area, has video games, pool table, that kind of stuff, theater, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Communities used to be designed like that. And then this article that actually stated that a lot of civic places which created civic life in the United States came from federal funding to build massive library systems where you would be able to go and there's a variety of things that were offered there more than checking out books. How many things happened in gymnasiums of the high school that were local, social centered, that didn't have anything to do with the school necessarily. All sorts of other things, but then that investment stopped. There was like a shift away from that kind of collective community more towards individualism is what the guy said.
Gotcha.
And so we don't have those spaces as much anymore where people go to gather. And then it was like, there's this book, Bowling Alone. It was talking about how participation in social groups started declining like in the 70s, 80s. So bowling leagues started. People would have bowling leagues, dart leagues. You had the Elks Club, the Eagles, all these clubs, all these social clubs, and things like that. All of them dwindling.
Gotcha.
These are places where people would get together and have community. So I remember, I have a very social job. very social job. And so when I feel like I can get home, it's like I've talked to people all day and I can get home and be fine. But still on Saturday, I had a drive like, oh, I don't want to sit here at home all day. I got to stop cursing. Gosh, you're a bad influence.
I haven't said a single curse word this whole time.
It's because you're putting me in here with your psychic abilities. It's like I got to do double duty for you. If you're not doing it, I'm double dutying. But and I thought I was like, oh, maybe I should call Money and like say, hey, you want to go somewhere? And then I was like, but I don't really want to go
right.
too far outside of my neighborhood.
Yeah,
because I wanted to be back because I was going to go do something in the evening.
Yeah.
But so I just went to little local spots where I still did talk to people.
Yeah.
And got out. But so yeah.
Yeah, we need it, man. We need it. We really do. We really do. We need it. Some more than others. Some don't need it as much, but we need it, and we're gonna be requiring and looking for it the rest of our lives. But when you get older, that's the scary time because you may not have it around.
See, this is interesting. I just looked it up on Google, and it says Japan has a nationalized nationalized healthcare system where you get free healthcare. But it's saying here there are people who come here because it's cold or because they're hungry, right? So they're poor, so they go to prison, and that happens in the United States as well.
Yes. Especially right now.
It says those who fall ill can get free medical treatment while they're in prison, but once they leave, they have to pay for it themselves. So I'm really confused because. Yeah. It says for some elderly women, resorting to crime is a path to survival. The Organization for Economic Cooperation, blah, 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 reports 20% of people aged over 65 in Japan live in poverty. That's, theft is the most common crime among elderly prisoners. Yep.
They just want company. That's what it sounds like.
Stealing, trying to get some food because they're living in poverty.
Oh, that too, yeah.
Right. Which is really interesting because Japan is, for countries, they're more collectivist, right? Whereas United States is more individualist. Japan's don't stand out. United States do stand out. So it's interesting.
It's gonna sound bad. It almost sounds like it's a win-win because if you steal food and get away, you got food. You get caught.
You got a
home.
You're gonna send you somewhere where you got a food and somewhere to sleep.
Yeah, somewhere to sleep.
Kind of sounds like my retirement plan.
And
friends.
You got friends.
Automatic friends.
I don't know if you guys remember. I always used to crack jokes. I was like, if I ever get too old and I ain't got no money, I'm gonna rob a bank. Because if I get away, I get the money. If I don't, then I get to hang out with the homies. And I'm hopefully going to be too old that they want to participate in any of the extracurricular activities. You know what I mean? Plus,
all your homies in jail?
Yeah, for that scenario.
Oh, they are?
That's the retirement plan. Rob the bank, get the money, or get caught, get sent to jail, and defecate on myself so they don't want to be around me.
Oh.
I'm just saying. But hopefully being too old where they don't want to touch money. Safety net. I thought about it too long.
I think there's some holes in your plan.
Probably so. It sounded good years ago, but it's like, what? But what I mean? But for them, it sounds like, because, sadly, this is that time of year where the people that are less fortunate out on the streets are committing more crimes to get inside. I mean, I just saw it a couple hours ago when I went to Safeway. They're committing more crimes, getting caught, and they're like, well, I got caught. Now I get this misdemeanor slap on the wrist crime, and I get to go somewhere for a week or two that's warm, and they're going to feed me.
Yeah.
You stopped them and asked them that's what they were doing it for?
No. I was in the store when the person was saying, we called the cops, and they pulled up, and like 6 of them.
Oh, you got me. Oh, you got me.
Coincidentally enough.
Oh, no.
No, coincidentally enough, when I drove by the cop car and the person, it was an elderly person. I didn't put 2 and 2 together until now with this whole topic, but that person was older. They weren't running. They got caught on the sidewalk of the Safeway that's right there. They weren't trying to get away aggressively. I got to get down the street and with this rack of ribs. No, they were just like, pfft.
Yeah.
Go get some. Go chill with my blanket and my cot.
It says a lot about society that it's like that. And there's, all sorts of reasons people end up in those situations. I skipped a lot in this article, but it says 𝗂𝗯𝗀𝗃 finished her sentence in October, a month before her release. She told CNN she was full of shame and afraid to face her son. Being alone is a very difficult thing, and I feel ashamed that I ended up in this situation. 𝗂𝗯𝗀 added, I really feel that if I had a stronger will, I could have led a different life, but I'm too old to do anything about it now. Yeah, you're 81, so.
Where's her son at?
I don't know.
Hopefully.
That's one of the things that did say is like, children just like kind of just move on and leave abandoned parents. And, it's an interesting situation. Yeah. So loneliness epidemic, it's widespread. Oh, she's so cute. 𝗂𝗯𝗀𝗃. I'd take you in. Just, she's so cute. Yes. She looks like a sweet grandma. That's a sweet grandma right there.
So many jokes, and I'm going to hold them all in. All of them, I'm holding in.
Yeah.
Looking for a Grammy. But she ain't got money, you know what I'm saying? But like, yeah.
At what point do you graduate out of Cougar, and what is the next level?
What's the next level after Cougar? Cougar. It's
That's beyond Cougar.
Looking for Grammys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking for Grammys.
Sabretooth.
Whoa.
Oh, it's interesting. Well, this is a connected topic.
Uncomfortable.
I was going to say, now we really got to finish later daters. Oh, man.
So people are lonely.
People are lonely.
They're looking for love in all kinds of places.
Yeah.
Because everybody needs love.
Everyone needs love.
Whether you want to admit it or not. So
yeah.
not even just necessarily people committing crimes to get into jail to get friends and food and shelter and all that, but just loneliness in general, right? So what you had brought up, or was that you? Yeah. What you had brought up earlier about the pen pal thing.
Yep.
Where women, and I think there's even men that are doing it too. It's not just women where they're doing the pen pal thing with somebody that's incarcerated and waiting for them to get out. And then,
Well, that's what, again, on Facebook, I came across a woman in prison posted her profile looking for a pen pal. And she had crazy eyes. But, I still looked at it.
Yeah, you did.
So anyway, that got us thinking. I was like, my boss had never seen that. He's like, is this real? I'm like, yeah, totally real. So I started looking up, I was like, is there a dating app for that? But there are pen pal services.
Yeah.
And so one of them right here, I just looked up, it's called Caged Ladies.
Oh.
Right? And inmate, female prisoners, game pen pals. So I'm going to click on that.
That sounds like something way different.
Yeah.
So
I'm just going to leave it at that.
So we did the one show about your 10 profile pick no-nos.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So first one we get.
The duck lips.
Duck lips on this lady. But you can know that that's her generation.
Yeah.
That's her generation. She's a duck lip generation.
She must have gone in when
Yeah.
that was in style and doesn't know that it's not
of course,
anymore.
This is a picture of her on the outside, so that could have been from then.
Right.
I'm going to click on this and learn more
you
about her.
So she did get the memo?
She did not get the memo.
I mean, there's some hotties on here.
I was going to say,
there's
hold
some
on.
hotties on here, huh?
Never mind.
So of course those are all
She's cute.
Those are pre pictures, obviously. That
of course, yeah.
Yeah, it's not an uncommon thing because, like, if you go into your side of it, as far as what you're going to talk about, with the men in the show, but it's pretty common, and I get it. You're in there, you're probably talking to the same people. After a while, you want somebody that's going to intrigue you on the outside.
Somebody that's waiting for you on the outside.
That's a big part of it.
So that's one less thing you got to start over on.
So why don't we wheel you back in? Because I see you going down the rabbit hole.
Trying to find love, baby. No, I was just curious because there was one that I read when I was doing research where she actually said what she was in for. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. I wanted to see look at this girl. She looks attractive. A little tatted up.
Yeah, that first picture didn't do her any justice. I like those other two, though. She's pretty.
This is her, sexy inmate looking for intelligent, successful man for fun and games. I'm not sure I want those fun and games if you're in prison. I don't know what those are. I don't
wonder
trust
if
them.
there's any chicks on here that have never been to jail and they're just looking for a new and fresh way to.
No, you probably got to prove you've been in
in.
jail. Let's see, how do you get on here? Oh, maybe. It says listed inmate. Interesting. Well, I'm going to click on one more because I'm curious.
Well, yeah. So most of those. So while you're scrolling, most of those, yes, they're a connection service. They connect you to the inmates.
Yeah.
So you have to have the inmate's number. You have to have. They're just that middle person because prisons are not going to have the same system as we do. And the freedoms that come with it. So
that one right there. Click on that one.
How do you think
I want to see what she did.
Well, it doesn't necessarily say.
Oh, dang it. That picture is way different than her other two pictures. Holy freaking.
This one's in Whitworth Women's Facilities. I was trying to think of the women's prisons but this is in Georgia. I don't even know Georgia girls. Looking for one local. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
looking
if you're
for
trying
someone
to go
with an
get
open heart,
conjugal visits.
open to friendships, loves animals and outdoors, please write to me. That's God. Now I'm not trying to make fun of these ladies because this one actually looks really nice.
Yeah, look at let's see.
Look at what
She
did
has nice
she
pictures.
do? What did you do? I'm not putting names.
Dang, I was about to say it. I'm glad you said that.
Red hair, blue eyes, 5'3", perfect, self-proclaimed botanist, loves plants. She would have known what
Exactly.
The
There you
religiosa
go.
was. Ficus religiosa. She loves doing hair and makeup. Oh, fun-loving girl, and I like to write and communicate with new friends.
What did you do?
I'm going to save this one.
Oh my God.
What did she do? Here's the thing, though. Was it like
She has nice hair.
Yeah, see, you don't know. It's just crazy the situations people can have. But the whole point was these are people who are in prison and, they're looking for love. They're lonely.
Which shows going to prison doesn't always mean you're going to find friends and companionship and.
Well, you get community, but you're not going to find a partner unless you happen to bat for the same team. So
it's also a great way for shy people to have someone to talk to. You know that you're not going to be committed to having to see that person and go out with that person, but you can have that communication if you don't want to get out and be social.
I like how I'm looking for someone who's financially and emotionally stable. Like, well, how did you get in here? Like, obviously.
You know what? Opposites attract. All right. So
I'm just going to jump in it. I think we were going to go there anyways, but. So, of course, there's shows. So,
do it.
Did you find the name of the show? There's a show. I don't know if it's still on the air. It was on the air on TLC, but it was very similar to the situation where people would meet inmates. They would fall in love. And then the show would take place once they're released. So give them a little backstory of what they were in for, when they met, how long they've been talking. But then in the show, it was about that after they get released, essentially, was it true love? Was it a situation to just have somewhere to be once you got released, both male and female, because you're lonely. You're lonely. And I don't want to say it, but some of them are desperate, but you have some people on the outside that are also desperate for attention, and it might come easier if it's from someone in prison. You know what I mean? Because trying not to be judgmental, but if you watch the show, you just get that feeling. Some of them are just like, I needed a place to stay when I got out.
Yeah.
Male and female. I needed a place to stay because I had no other family in the state, no one's around, no one's going to say I account for me.
Yeah.
But this person is. I don't have a means of startup to get my feet wet or whatever the term is, so.
It's getting something wet.
Oh, okay. So, there's also another route that people take. There's another show. It's not inmates and people that aren't in jail. It's inmates and inmates. And I don't mean same sex. So like the inmates, the men and the women are separated, right? But they're usually on different floors in the jail sometimes, like depending on what state, you know,
right.
in the prison, jail, whatever. And they will meet. You want to know how they meet?
No.
Talking through the toilets.
I've heard of toilets, vents, and like, oh my god.
Talking through the toilets. And then they'll send each other stuff back and forth through the toilet, the pipeline.
Wow.
I feel like that's got to be in jail rather than prison. I feel like prisons are definitely gender segregated. Jails aren't. Jails
Maybe,
are
yeah.
different.
I don't know enough about them. I
thankfully.
have never gone. Thank God.
Right.
Yeah.
But wow. That's interesting.
The army felt like enough. Learned my lesson there. That's what this feels like. Oh, okay. I'm never doing this again.
But I've heard of that. I'm always like, who designed this place? Didn't you think about that? But the toilets, that's a little extreme. Like that means you're scooping water out.
So I don't think they have water in them.
Oh, are they like airplanes? They're like airplanes,
yeah.
huh?
I'm pretty sure that's kind of how they work.
You drown somebody in that.
Yeah, that's probably why they don't.
Or they have a way of, I'm not 100% sure. I just remember the show was they would talk through the toilets and they would send stuff back and forth through the toilet pipeline.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I've watched like 60 Days In and stuff like that, but it's about normal people. Let me take that back. Not normal people. It's people that haven't committed a crime going in and seeing what it feels like to be with people who have committed a crime. And seeing if they can last the 60 days or not. I don't even think they get a prize.
And then what kind of prison, man? Because like this is going off topic.
Made it out alive.
Like I'd be interested, but I wouldn't want to.
But anyway, it's to the loneliness point. And then what's interesting also is like it kind of follows these couples throughout the show, and some of them end up being coupled with somebody else by the end of the show, or some of them they'll get out and then they actually meet up once they're both out and try to have this relationship continue.
I got a TikTok of a lady meeting a prison guy. This is one of the things that got me going. What did you want to say? Go for it.
No, I was gonna say it sounded stupid right after I thought about it. I was like, I wonder if they have an app for prisoners when they come out to meet other prisoners, just because they would know their experience and can kind of help each other get back on the right track. But at the same time, I was like, they're like, I'm free. I'll just get on the regular one with the regular people. Again, regular people. You know what I mean?
Jeez,
I know it sounds so bad. Sounds so bad, but you know what I mean. Okay, you said you found a TikTok.
And he's going to play it right here.
So I'm feeling inspired from that lady that picks up dudes in jail and stuff. So guess what I'm doing today? I figure I'd get me one too. Why not? Why the hell not? Everything else has failed. This probably gonna fail too. Only one way to find out. Picked one out in the paper. Today's his release date's coming out in 15 minutes. I got his clothes right here. Actually, they're my son's clothes. Hopefully they fit him. Well, I guess we'll find out. See what he looks like. All right. God, now I know how she feels just sitting here waiting. I got like 4 minutes until he comes out.
God, this is actually quite long.
Okay, just chill. Be cool. Be fucking cool, Liz. Don't blow it. Don't blow it like you blow everything else. Don't do it, Liz.
Don't blow it with the prison guy.
Stop talking to yourself.
Oh.
That's she could.
The adrenaline that's going through my body right now, it's almost the same as when I was doing do the clothes fit. There he is. Oh, don't fall, don't fall. Hello.
Prison shoes. Sorry.
6.5 hours later.
Engine running. Right.
That made me uncomfortable.
So she didn't even know what he looked like.
He didn't know what she looked like.
So I picked one out in the paper. Now, we just established I don't know if this is real or not. You can establish the fact that you can go on there and see pictures and start writing to these ladies,
Yeah.
and same with the men. I would imagine. Haven't looked that up yet. But who knows? Maybe there was one in the paper. Maybe that's how they do it.
That's wild. That's like,
He just happy to be out. He got somewhere to go, and he has some new stuff waiting for him.
Yeah.
And probably a lot of built up aggression behind it.
Yeah.
So based on her picture and how she looked afterwards, they both were happy.
Now, here's the question. It's like,
it's beautiful.
Now, if you're trying to find a prisoner because, you're just trying to get laid, what kind do you want to go for? Do you think you're going to go try to find the one who did the financial crimes? You think he's going to blow your back out if you're a lady? Or are you going to try to go for somebody that did something a little bit more spicy? You know what I'm saying?
Spicy.
Yeah, do you want the guy I'm in there for financial crimes, accounting fraud? Probably not going to deliver the goods. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm actually profiling, financial
She's a freak.
criminals.
She's gonna go for the dude that strangled somebody to get
Yeah.
in.
Wouldn't be surprised if she didn't even check.
Yeah, probably not.
She just like, homie coming out today.
I feel like
What you in for?
I would want to know.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Especially you bringing that person to your house.
Oh, maybe you get a motel room just to be safe.
Yeah, not so safe. You're still in a room.
True.
But there's plenty of criminals that people are meeting people on dating sites. They're not even criminals. They have no criminal history, but they're ending up with, I don't know if this needs to be bleep, but getting stabbed and all that kind of, I've seen plenty of stories like that just from people meeting on Tinder.
Yeah. People get hurt.
Yeah, always meet in a public place, I guess, and don't go. Yeah. I don't know. But yes, the loneliness epidemic, it has all sorts of ways just it being seen in the society in which we live. And I don't think it's going to get better.
No. How many pen pals you got to start off with?
That one looked pretty cute.
Did you text her?
Yeah,
She's in Florida. I mean, I don't mind, the Sunshine State, right?
Exactly.
We're getting snow right now.
Florida.
So
It's still Florida, though.
Miami. Miami's great, I heard. Like, oh, not again.